Yo, welcome to the show, everybody. It's me, Ben, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today, my friends, doing something a little bit different. We're doing a little voiceover piece. I will not be on camera today because I'm under the weather after traveling, but we are here today to celebrate, to enjoy, and look back on my very eventful, very exciting, and very enjoyable trip to South Korea with some friends. Hello and welcome in those of y'all that have been following the journey over on Instagram. I appreciate y'all. And if you haven't followed me over on Instagram, there are a bunch of extra pictures up there if you'd like to see some of those from the trip. But excuse me, y'all. It's gonna be a rough video, man. I do have notes and everything, but between being sick and probably coughing my way through the videos, y'all just gotta bear with me, all right? Bear with me. We're suffering through it. I know that a bunch of y'all really wanted to go ahead and have the video, and I want to be able to have it up there as well so that, you know, my friends and my family can look to the video as well and enjoy. But as always, my friends, if y'all enjoyed today, be sure to leave a like for me one time, especially because I'm doing this shit when I'm sick anyway. I'm still getting it out. We're getting the video out. But let's hop into it and let's begin talking. The main thing here, I think I'm just going to sort of like run down each sort of day and give y'all a full breakdown to the best of my ability of what happened. And then at the end, we'll talk about all the soft stuff, about like how it was awesome and it was like one of the best experiences of my life and all this other stuff. But let's start with chronological order to the best of my ability, okay? So I took a flight from Tampa up to Baltimore. I wanted to be able to fly with friends over to South Korea because I have flown internationally before, but my last time doing it, I was in like middle school, y'all. You know what I mean? So like, I don't remember the process. I don't remember what it's like trying to get through customs and stuff. So my goal was to be able to fly with friends so that if something was going to go wrong, I would be able to be with them and we would be able to work through it together. You know what I mean? So that's why I did my flying route, but spent the night in Baltimore, had a good time, went out and got us some food. I don't remember if I took a picture or not, but I got this crazy French dip sandwich and I'm still thinking about it. Like obviously like I'm locked thinking about all of the great food that I ate in Korea, but that French dip sandwich that I had in Baltimore that night was unbelievable. Anyway, we had a good time in Baltimore, tried to go to sleep. The original plan was, y'all, we were gonna try to sleep like 2 hours and then wake up nice and early because our flight to DFW, the first Dallas-Fort Worth, the first flight was gonna be at stupid o'clock in the morning. So what we did was we slept like 2 hours, woke up, I was absolutely dead to begin day one of our true proper trip. Made it over to the airport, parked in long-term parking, which for the record, y'all, long-term parking is a scam. That shit costs so much money for no reason. I don't know why it costs so much money, but we didn't really have much of a choice. We had to use that. So did that. Got into the airport. Thankfully, everything was super smooth. Flight went well, but this is where the problems began because I didn't sleep a wink on that flight. So I'm sitting there, okay, I'm a little tired, but I've got my adrenaline going. So we're absolutely pumping the adrenaline right now. We get onto our second flight on time, thankfully. We didn't have a really long layover, so we kind of had to be quick about things, but we got on our flight. And it was a 14-hour flight. I did not realize how much of this flight was actually going to be over land. You'd think like if you're looking at like a globe, it's like, okay, so we're leaving from Dallas-Fort Worth and we're gonna land in Incheon, Seoul, and it's like, so you just go like straight across, right? No, not at all. So there was a lot more on land, like flying over land, which is great because if y'all haven't heard, I'm terrified of the idea of the open ocean. So like flying is like really, you know, I knew it was going to be kind of intimidating for me, but I was like, Ben, just suck it up and do it. You know what I mean? Like just shut up. Once you land, it's going to be great. You just got to make it over the water, which is exactly what happened. But yeah, I thankfully, I did, once again, I didn't manage to sleep at all on this 14-hour flight. Would you believe it? I watched like an entire movie franchise. I actually managed to watch a little bit of some Everglow on the TV over there because they had, oh man, what's it called? i-dle League. They had like a couple episodes, and so I watched that, and that was really fun. But I didn't sleep at all. Thankfully, customs was very easy to get through once we were in. And that night, first thing we did once we landed in Korea is we went and we walked around. I think the area is called HBC. And I'm not really sure how to pronounce it in Korean, so I'm just going to use the abbreviation. But we got some awesome samgyeopsal for dinner, and then a cool drink at a little bar afterwards, which was nice. And then we hit my first ever Korean convenience store for the essentials that we knew we were going to need over the next couple of days. We bought a bunch of things. Obviously, soju is very cheap over in Korea, so you can imagine there were a couple of those that may or may not have been consumed that evening. We enjoyed watching some really stupid meme videos on the TV that night over on YouTube. May or may not have had a soju or two. And went off to bed because we knew that things were about to kick up like crazy when we started day 2. So let's hop into it. Day 2, I finally got some sleep. I actually slept like 7 hours. Finally, which, because I hadn't slept more than like 2.5 hours in the last like 2 days prior. So it was nice to get a little sleep, you know what I mean? But time for the first full day, day 2. We went down and had breakfast at the hotel, but I didn't really take a video or a picture of any of that because we were headed out and I kind of forgot to. But we started by heading into the city and the scenery around oh man, how do you say the name of the palace? We decided we were going to go and use the first part of the day to look around Gyeongbokgung Palace. And I'm pretty sure I didn't pronounce it completely correct, but I think I was close. And it was unbelievably gorgeous. Unbelievably gorgeous. Not just the palace itself, but obviously we went at a time of year where it was very, very hot outside. Unbelievably hot outside. But so many of the trees and the greenery in general were still just so vibrantly green and beautiful. And the way that the city and this location, the way that this nature is nestled into the city in this location is one of the coolest things I think I've ever seen with my own eyes. So that was also really, really great. But natural side of the mountains on one side and the bustle of the city on the other, and just both of them just sort of pressed against each other. It was really, really cool. We wanted to look around the 2 museums or galleries or whatever for the 2 statues that were outside the area, but they were closed, and so we weren't able to go in, and we ended up just using it as an excuse to stay in the air conditioning for a little bit instead. But I didn't really get to know anything about those 2 statues. They're very, very big. I don't remember if I took a picture or not, but I didn't know the history behind them, and we really wanted to, but those museums or whatever it was nearby were closed, so we didn't really get any time to do that. But it was really pretty inside the palace once we started to walk through and we bought our ticket. And there were a ton of people wearing hanbok, which blew my mind, which, it's great because the whole thing is you go and if you are wearing the traditional garb, right, you don't have to pay to get in, and that's awesome. But the heat index was 110 that day. Fahrenheit, at least. I don't know, transferring that over to Celsius. It was hot, is the point. It was hot. It was unbelievably hot, as I'm about to talk about more, but I was literally dizzy from the heat. So everyone that was wearing all of the extra traditional clothing and stuff, I was really impressed with them because none of them looked miserable. And I felt miserable the entire time, but it was so gorgeous, like I said, around the area that it didn't really matter to me. So we ended up finally, after walking pretty much all the way from front to back of the entirety of the palace, we went to a little cafe nearby, and I got a smoothie, and it basically saved my entire existence. I was probably about to keel over and die, but I was literally nauseous from the heat at this point, despite drinking water the entire day. I was really trying, y'all, but I was just losing it, man. I couldn't do it. And we went back to another convenience store, and I got some ice and some water, and I was trying to recover a little bit. But we ended up stopping at this cold noodle shop, and I have no idea what it was called, but it was in the sort of mall area that wasn't too far away. And they were playing, one of the best memories from this day is they were playing all of these recent generation girl group songs. It was I have the list here. I said they played 5 IVE songs, 4 LE SSERAFIM, 4 aespa, 3 New Jeans, etc. There was just tons of new music, and there were no boy groups, no male soloists at all. It was all girl groups. I was thriving. Not to say that I don't love boy groups. Y'all know, those of y'all that have been around the channel. But it's it was great. I was getting my girl group on, man. It was awesome. Anyway, and that was definitely helping me recover a little bit because of the heat. But we got ourselves some cold noodles, and I don't remember what the name of the dish was that I got. I don't even remember if I took a picture of that either. I was probably suffering too much. But yeah, it was great. Had a lot of fun there. And then we finally made it back to the hotel to sort of regroup a little bit and literally recharge because our phones were almost dead at this point. And we decided what we were going to do next was we were going to go down into Itaewon to look around and just sort of enjoy the scenery. Obviously, in the afternoon, Itaewon is a completely different place than when it is nighttime and the bars and everything are open. But it was still really cool to just sort of get like a feel and a grip on the place, just because I knew that we were going to be there later in the week at nighttime when things were fun and popping. But instead of actually doing anything extra in Itaewon, we ended up over in Hongdae for dinner and drinks, and we had this unbelievably incredible meal at, oh wait, how do you say this? I think it was, the restaurant is called Our Galbi, and I don't know the exact history of the place, but the hosts there were the absolute sweetest. It was an awesome experience, and at the end of it all, this dakgalbi that we ate ended up being one of my favorite meals of the whole trip, and I basically had it on the first full day. So I'm sitting there freaking out that it's tasting this good, and we had also just been outside all day, so just good, proper refuel meal at this dakgalbi place was awesome. The other thing that I have here in my notes here is that right as we like sat down to order, it started, the sky just opened and started pouring rain. So all of us were really like, it was very cozy in there, you know? We were like, oh, so nice not getting absolutely dumped on here in the rain. So that was great. That was a little memory that I wanted to make sure that I remembered to put in the video, but we felt really cozy at that moment. And after dinner, we had a bit of a hankering for a drinkerin'. That's what my notes say, at least. I'm just reading off of it at this point. We were trying to drink, so we decided to go to a spot. I believe the place was called Craft Hans, and we had just had a couple of members of the group had wanted to go anyway, and we had also gotten some recommendations for that place. So we said, all right, we'll start off our night there. And I got a really cool mojito. I don't remember if I took a picture of that or not, but I don't know how common this is in other countries, but typically when you're in like a group, I think if you are ordering drinks, it's like polite, or in sometimes, at least in this case, required to also order a small dish, at least something to go with it, or food of some sort. And so we saw on the menu that they had these kimchi cheese fries, and I was like, okay, like we could try to do something traditional here, but like everyone was down for it. When I tell y'all that these kimchi cheese fries had no business being as fire as they were so good, it was stupid. But we enjoyed those, that was great. After that, group began to dwindle a little bit just because we had a long day out in the sun and all of us were really exhausted. So we decided we would go to one more bar, and we went to, oh God, how do you say this? God, I have all of my notes here, but I can't even remember how to say things. i-dle? G-I-T-T-E-O-L, at least when you Romanize it, I believe is how you spell it. But our group was big enough, so they gave us the back room to chill in, and oh my goodness, dude, this was so much fun. This is such a core memory, bro. They gave us 2 squeak toy chicken wings to squeak when we were ready to order. And I was so delirious from walking the whole day that using a literal squeak toy to order, because the way that this bar was set up in the back here, they can't really see you. So in order for them to know when we were ready, you just squeeze the little chicken wing thing and you go, squeak, you know, and then they would come back and take our order. But that was honestly so funny to me, and I definitely was made funnier because I was so delirious, like I was saying, but that was awesome. And I ordered a daiquiri there, which is one of my favorite cocktails of all time. They made me a really good one, and so that was great. At that point, most of us broke off back to go home, and then I think the rest sort of must have gotten a taxi or whatever, but that was first full day. Actually, day 2, particularly memorable, great day. Day 3, oh my goodness, where do I even start with day 3? Oh my God, so second full day. We took our time waking up and went to go to a little breakfast cafe. Once again, I forgot to take pictures of that, I'm sorry. But they did have a bunch of waffles and croissants and stuff, and so the rest of the group had really much enjoyed those. We hopped in the car, y'all, this is the best day. Oh my God, we went to Nami Island on this day. I was praying that we'd be able to do this, because everything about the area that I've seen from assorted pieces of content of my favorite idols doing stuff around this area, and also in general around the Nami Island area, like I knew that I was going to love this place, but I didn't realize how like literally healing it was going to feel for me, especially after how crazy the day before had been. We made this long ass drive, a long ass ride, if you will. Shout out to my boy Mark Lee one time. And we saw the places where, you know, the zip lining and the bungee jumping happens, and the speakers were playing Shine by Pentagon when we got there, and I was really soft about that because I love that song and I love Pentagon. But like, how many idols have I seen do activities in this area and, you know, assorted content pieces over the years? And I was literally standing there where they had been at one point, and that was just really cool to me to finally have like this really like full circle moment. But the ferry ride over was cinematic as hell, and we all took tons of pictures, of course. And after walking around Nami Island for a long time, we got lunch at Namun, I think is how you say it. And this place ended up also being one of my favorite meals of the whole trip because we ordered this spicy seafood pancake that was great, some wagmandu, and also I decided... Are we really doing the yard work at this time? Yeah, I did yard work earlier today too. Let me get through this. We ordered this spicy jimdak, I think is how you call it, and I've never ordered a dish like that before, but it was basically like this braised chicken, and it was so good. I'm so glad that we decided to order it. But between those like 3 main things, it ended up being one of the best meals of the trip as well. And I'm gonna come back to y'all when they're done doing yard work. Man, this is so loud I can't even hear myself think. Okay, I think the workers outside are finally far enough away that my mic is going to be okay. But where was I? I think after that we ended up taking our last few paces on Nami Island, and we took the ferry back, and then got back in the car for another long while to go back into town. But we ended up settling on getting some dinner further away near the Han River, and that was really great. I wish I had been able to see the area a little bit better during the day, but it was already really dark by the time we got there. But once again, I was absolutely exhausted, just dog tired by this point, and totally forgot to film a bunch of extra stuff. So I don't have a whole lot of extra content for y'all in regard to that. But in the end, went back to the hotel, quick shower, water consumption, off to bed. One of my favorite days of the entire trip. I absolutely loved everything that we got up to on that day. And then following day 4. Day 4, I woke up feeling a little bit sick, but screw it, man. We ball regardless, and it was time to go to Busan. We were going to Busan today, and I will have a little bit more info about certain things that happened later on very soon. I need to get better at narrating, bro. I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. Out of the hotel, bright and early, braved the rain. It was absolutely pouring outside when we were trying to leave, and the buses, of course, were packed to the train station, so that was annoying trying to get through all of that because we were leaving during rush hour, and obviously everyone was trying to get to work, and we were just trying to make it to our train on time, but it was very claustrophobic on the buses. Did not enjoy that. But after getting nice and soaked, made it all the way to the station, grabbed ourselves a quick convenience store type breakfast. You already know the vibes, and thankfully did make it to the train to Busan on time. Almost the whole ride there, the TVs were just showing news and stuff, but right before we arrived, I looked up and I saw that Rocket Punch was on the TV performing Chiquita, and I knew I had to whip out my phone and record it really quickly because my girlfriend Faith and I love Rocket Punch, and I knew that would make her happy to see that was on the TV there on the train. But finally got off the train and into Busan. After looking around that sort of main square and area really quickly right outside the train station, we headed over to Jakati Market, and we were looking for some fish. You already know how it is. We settled on a place that had some AC inside, thankfully. So we ordered some grilled eel, which we liked, but the team also ordered some spoonworm, and I was not brave enough to be able to try that, but a few of our group did decide that they wanted to. It was just still moving. I just wasn't down for it, bro. I'm sorry. Like, if y'all want to call me a wimp for that one, I get it, but I was already feeling kind of gross that day. Like, I didn't want to get into it, but we took a nice long metro ride and made it to our new hotel, obviously in Busan, because Busan is, for those of y'all that don't know, like, Busan is the literal opposite side of the country. Like, it's about as far south as it gets, as you know, as long as we're not including Jeju, but like it's way down there. So got to our hotel, unpacked a little bit, and this was one of the really awesome parts of the trip that we had been looking forward to. So all of us were just absolutely buzzing about this. But we ended up going down to the beach, which is one of the things that we were looking forward to. But we couldn't get in the water because of the wave height, which kind of sucked. But we still had a really good time over there on the beach. It was nice and sunny and pretty outside. But we ended up that night going to get some beef at a place called i-dle, I think, restaurant, and decided to go for it. It was absolutely incredible. Also one of my favorite meals of the trip. We ended up getting where was this? Oh, this note says we made a large win and a large mess up at the same time. What do I mean by that? Oh, that's what this is. Oh, okay. This is where I started talking. So what happened that night, y'all? Only like 2 of our group had seen Train to Busan, the movie. I have not seen it until this night. And we watched it. It's an incredible movie. But I'm skittish, man. I don't do like the horror sort of intense type movies very well. I'm very glad we decided to watch it. And I ended up enjoying it. I had a great time. But in the moment, it was really tough to go to sleep afterwards because I was just like sort of like mindlessly scrolling on like TikTok and Twitter trying to like not think about the movie. But like it really like left like an impact on me, bro. So like I'm glad we were able to do it. Watching Train to Busan in Busan, core memory of the trip. Partly because it traumatized the shit out of me. But it was awesome. So, you know, it is whatever. That was how that night ended. We're on to day 5. I've been talking way too much. Day 5 started a little slow, but that was fine by us because all of us were just exhausted from all of the other assorted traveling and just getting around. But we got some showers in, and then we headed to a Buddhist temple and walked around. I don't know the exact name of this temple, but once I show you all the pictures and videos that are probably going up right now, as I continue to talk, y'all will, hopefully, some of y'all will know what I'm talking about, but this place was unbelievably beautiful, bro. I could not even, like, begin. It felt like I was in a movie, but not even just like any movie. It felt like we were in, like, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm just going to shut up and keep talking about the story. But I felt very calm here, despite how many people were around us and how warm it was outside that day. It was, once again, I was just sweating like crazy. But there was a real like aura, a real peace to this place, and I really enjoyed being able to check out the area. But outside temple was a bunch of street food type vendors, and so I took the opportunity, went ahead and got myself some skewers. I got a spicy chicken one and a sausage and rice cake kind of one. Both were good, but the sausage and rice cake skewer was like, I don't know what kind of crack cocaine they put in that, but I was absolutely in love with that, bro. It tasted so good. And after lunch, headed back to the hotel. I ended up skipping out on a sort of beach trip that the rest of the gang ended up doing that afternoon just because I was down bad, bro. I was still feeling a little bit gross from the day prior, trying to get over it, just trying to take a nap and just sort of enjoy the air conditioning a little bit. And I'm glad that I did. I'm sort of sad that I missed out on that extra time with the group there, but I sort of needed it just to be able to sit and sort of recenter myself. But later on, the crew returned. We ventured into Somyeon, I think is how you say the area. And we went to this ramen spot called Ramen Ya, and I absolutely bit off way more than I could chew because this ramen was incredible, but my lips were just on fire. And I'm embarrassed because I thought my spice palette had improved a little bit, and maybe it has, but whatever I ordered in that ramen, as much as it tasted incredible, I was sitting there borderline crying into this bowl because I couldn't handle it. But it was great, no regrets, but I probably should have ordered something else. Anyway, we stuffed our faces, of course, and we ran down the street to Fuzzy Navel because we had a bunch of requests and a bunch of good sort of, what's the word? Not a request, it's recommendation. Thank you. God, I can't even figure it out. But we went to this place and oh my goodness, I can't even begin to tell you, bro. This is one of my favorite points of the entire trip just because of how vibey it was in there. Whoever had blended the mix of music had blended at one moment ATEEZ's work into LE SSERAFIM's Unforgiven, and when I tell you that I was on drink number 2 and just absolutely ascending, floating off of my feet in this bar because of how excited I was. I hadn't heard a whole lot of K-pop just like around at least the assorted places that we had been up until this point, except that one cold noodle restaurant like I was saying from the other day. So when I was listening to this awesome like well-made mix of all of these different very modern K-pop songs, I was freaking out, and that bar ended up being one of my absolute favorite places of the entire trip. Shout out to Fuzzy Navel, that was awesome. Oh yeah, I have here that I ordered 3 drinks because we were there for a nice long time, and their whole cocktail menu in general looks great. We ended up playing a couple of rounds of darts. It was a lot of fun. I actually played okay too. I didn't expect myself to be okay at darts because I don't think I've ever really played before, but it was fun. All right, day 6, on to the next day. We slept in a bit because our train to Busan, not to Busan. Our train back to Seoul from Busan was departing later than when we had done the one to Busan, so we didn't have to be at the station until 1:30. So we took our time packing everything up, taxied to Busan Station, of course, and oh, okay, I forgot about this. Our taxi driver was the vibiest, coolest dude on this trip. I have to tell you all about him. We basically, at this point, none of us really knew any Korean, but he knew a little bit of English and was really, pointing out different places as we were driving across the bridge, back the opposite way and everything, and he was pointing out different things and trying to describe things in English, and he was just so nice to us and so excited to show off the area to us. And so we ended up using Google Translate to speak with him a bit for the shorter sentences. We were trying to say it out loud in Korean because you can see the romanization underneath it when you've got the script there. But for the shorter sentences, we were trying to pronounce it out loud. But for the longer ones, we would just let the Google automated voice do it. And the few sentences that I was able to tell him in Korean was that I said that Busan is beautiful. He loved that. His whole face lit up when I said that. And later on, I said that we had hoped to go to Lotte World, but we had ran out of time. And we were at a stoplight when I had said this, and he put his hands to his face to make the TT sort of like sad thing. And he put into his translator that we'll just have to come back next time and do it on our next trip. And all of us in the car were like, yep, that's exactly how we feel about it too. We would love to be able to do that next time. And also, as we were getting out of the car, I told him to have a great day. And he put his hand on his heart and told us to do the same. And it was just one of the coolest experiences of the whole trip was just being able to talk with that guy. He was so friendly. So many of our other taxi drivers were just sort of, full silence. And that's totally fine. We tried not to talk too much in those car rides just because we were trying to be respectful of the drivers, right? You don't want to have like a car full of like rowdy tourists hop in your car, so we were trying to be quiet normally, but he was just so brimming with, excitement to show us the area, even though he was taking us to the train station. It was just so sweet, and I loved being able to talk with him. Vibiest dude ever, made my whole day. Anyway, sorry, that was a long segment. Made it to Busan Station finally. I got this sort of egg sandwich thing with bacon on it. I did actually remember to record it this time, although I didn't like it very much. It's okay. I should have ordered something else. We had a couple of our groups split off and go to a bibimbap place, and I should have just eaten that, but whatever, it was fine. Snagged myself a Sunkist at the convenience store because I wanted something different, and it was certainly different to Sunkist than it is like here in America, but it was still okay enough. It hit the spot because I wanted something with some bubbles in it. But yeah, that was the thing. It had like less carbonation, it felt like, and I like it when the bubbles like kind of attack the back of my throat, you know what I mean? So that was a little bit disappointing, but it was cool trying a nice soda from a different spot. Curious what Koreans would think of American sodas, because like, it's different. It's different. Anyway, I'm sorry. Anyway, let's back into it. What else do I need to say about today? Went back onto our train, no longer a train to Busan, but a train from Busan back to Seoul. Lol. Why do my notes look like this, dude? I used the entire time to look out the window for some scenery, as per usual. Y'all know I love me a good view. And ended up catching up on an episode of a podcast I've been enjoying. Smooth sailing, thankfully. Made it back to our hotel in Seoul. Quick unpack, regroup, you already know the vibes, because we were on the way to Namsan Tower. This is the part of the trip, outside of the trip to Nami Island, that I was most excited for. I had been saying ever since the trip came to fruition, I said, y'all, if we do not end up on the top of Namsan Tower, we did not go on this trip. We didn't do it right. Obviously, we didn't have a whole lot of time, y'all. I was only there for a couple of days. I wasn't able to get everything done in South Korea that I wanted to do, but I knew when we booked this trip, I was like, no, we are going to Namsan Tower. And I had to make it up to go see all the views up there. But before y'all ask, I know that some of y'all are gonna ask about this. I didn't leave one of the little heart locks there for me and Faith because I decided I would feel weird doing it there without her. And I want to be able to maybe, if we end up going together, maybe we will absolutely end up buying one of those and doing that together. But I bought some assorted little souvenirs and stuff, and I bought her a present there too as well. So didn't do the lock heart thing, but maybe one day in the future. Maybe one day in the future. So, cable car up was scary, but I'm glad that we decided to do it. It definitely freaked me out a little bit, just being sort of like suspended in midair that high up. But the view was so gorgeous, even there, that I found a way. I found it in me. I found the inner strength to not give up and to not panic on this cable car. But we kept going up. I was thriving once we made it all the way up. We did pay the extra fee to go to the tippy top, but low key, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, that wasn't really worth it. 90% of the people, okay, I'm getting into my soapbox here. I'm getting up on my soapbox. 90% of it being up there was just people sitting on the windowsills and not budging. And so many of them weren't even looking outside the window. It's like you and I both paid this fee to get up here to enjoy the view, and y'all are like looking back at the shop. Look outside and also move so other people can get like a selfie or something. What are we doing? I don't want to like sit around and like tap somebody on the shoulder and be like, hey, can you like move for me really quickly? I just want to get a quick selfie. I literally ended up not even staying up top for too long. A bunch of my group ended up doing it, but we were up there at golden hour. I'm trying to get a couple of nice pictures going. So I went all the way back down. I said, listen, bro, I'm done up here. It looked like the gift shop was a little bit larger on the bottom level as well anyway. So went still plenty high up and got some great selfies from the slightly lower area up top. And we ended up getting some food there later. Oh my goodness, wait, I'm definitely out of line with my notes here. But yeah, basically what I'm saying is for those of y'all that haven't visited Namsan Tower, or also those of y'all that have, just be wary about that. In my opinion, it might not even be worth paying the extra fee to go to the top. Being able to say you've been at the absolute top definitely is cool to pay the fee, but all the best pictures I got were from that area below where I wasn't like pressed in with a bunch of extra people and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So if you end up visiting, maybe that's worth you knowing as well. And if you think I'm crazy for saying that, then let me know in the comments down below. But maybe I just went on a bad day. Maybe I just went on a day where just people were not behaving or whatever. But went down to the gift shop, like I was saying, bought myself a little shot glass that shows off the tower. And I got a little magnet for me and Faith. Faith and I have decided that we're going to start collecting magnets for our fridge. And I found a little Namsan Tower one that says, I love you on it. And so that was really cute. And I've already got it up on the fridge now that we're back home. But had myself quick dinner. We were trying to go relatively quickly, so I didn't get anything special. Dinner was not super important that night. But line for the cable car was stupid long, like miles and miles long. So we got adventurous and we decided to walk down the mountain after dark. Was not the smartest decision. We did make it down in one piece, thankfully, but it was treacherous, is what we'll say. Going through some of the woods there at night on that wooden path and everything, pretty intimidating. Almost got lost a couple of times in the pitch black, but definitely made some memories out of that, and that was fun. But made it back to the hotel eventually, and this was the time to go into Itaewon. We were doing it, and we were doing it live. First bar that we went to was called Shenanigans Pub, and that place was vibey as hell. Hit some karaoke afterwards. I sang Careless Whisper by George Michael, and my score was not nearly as good as it should have been. That machine had to have been broken because I sang every single word of that damn song, and I sang it well. But on to the next place. We went to this place called The Fountain, and holy shit, it was ridiculous. We spent like an hour downstairs near the main bar, but eventually decided to get a table upstairs. We were just like, you know what, dude, screw it. Let's all throw our money together. We're only here in Korea for a couple more days. Let's just send it. So we ended up getting a table upstairs, and it was a lot. It was a lot. It was crazy. We made a lot of new friends that night in our drunken states. And we stayed out nice and late. So it meant very poor night's sleep by the time we got back, but it was one of the most memorable days of my entire life, and I had so much fun, like I said, at all of those assorted clubs in Itaewon that night. Okay, day 7. Another morning, another waffle, sheesh. So we definitely ended up losing my transportation card at some point. That's how crazy the Itaewon night was previously, as you can probably imagine. But we ended up getting me a new one at the nearby convenience store, and we hopped on a bus to go to Gangnam. I ended up getting a couple of pics with some legends that you guys can see here that I'm putting up on the screen, so that was absolutely dope. But all the shops on that main street were way out of my own tax bracket, so we got back onto a bus and headed to the Coax Mall because we were interested in just exploring around a bit and looking around. So we did that for about an hour or two. And that whole area was really cool. I will say the library in there was my favorite part just because of how like aesthetically pleasing it was to look at. But we weren't really trying to spend a bunch of money on clothes and stuff at the shops. So we ended up dipping out of there and caught another bus ride because we thought we were going to go and visit the SM Studio building and try to get like a selfie out front. But we definitely, you know, didn't find the right thing, and we ended up accidentally like running by the a FNC building, and so I don't know how we ended up doing this. This part of the day was kind of an anomaly, and I'm not sure what happened, but it was great to be able to like see that part of the adventure and, you know, have all that. But we went down into the metro, came back up at the actual SM building that we had been looking for, and we went into the Kwangya shop, and it was really cool, and I didn't end up buying anything because once again, a little bit broke from the night before because of what we did in Itaewon, and I didn't have a whole lot of money left on me, but looking around at all the assorted stuff in that shop was really, really cool. And so we were already there and we're up in that area, so we decided we would go and look at the entrance to Seoul Forest, but we were really wiped out at this point, so we didn't feel like really walking around, but it was still cool to be able to say, yep, got to see the entrance to Seoul Forest. because I had at least 2 of y'all tell me that you thought that I would enjoy that place. So I'm glad that I got to technically do that a little bit for y'all. But dinner was, how do you say this? Oh God, how do you pronounce this? Kyochon Pilbang in Itaewon, and holy crap, it was like this speakeasy fried chickeny type something, and I was munching like crazy on the garlic soy wings that we ordered. It was unbelievable, and that was a really cool spot that we ended up finding, and then eventually ended up down the street a bit further away for a bar called Ugly Society, and we went up to their rooftop section, and it was super sick up there. We almost got rained on up there, but we got ourselves a cocktail each, shared ourselves a bit of a spinach dip. I could have eaten 10 of those spinach dips just by myself. They were so good. And then we ended up back at a convenience store again for some soju, and I actually finally got some noodles. I finally tried Shin Ramen for the first time, which I know y'all are gonna be like, Ben, that's like the most popular one. You've never had it. No, I haven't been, I haven't really had a whole lot of access to the instant noodle grind over here in the States. So it was my first time trying it, and I really enjoyed it. I can understand why people like it with the kind of bone brothy, not bone, but the beef brothy kind of stuff. It was really good. And we put some more silly YouTube videos on the TV while we were getting ready because we were going out again. Night 2 in Itaewon, baby. We were going to try to get into Waikiki, but the line was basically as long as the distance between Busan and Seoul. So we were like, all right, screw it. If all y'all want to go to this club, have a good time, we're going to find somewhere else to go and have a good time. And we ended up at this sort of like techno music type bar instead. And it was dope. It was dark as hell in there, but it was super green with the lights, and the music was awesome. And at this point, I was pretty buzzed. So we were dancing around, having a good time, making some memories. And the bartenders in there were pretty cool too. Very, very, very chill, easy to talk to. So shout out to those guys. But we were headbanging a whole lot, and we ended up deciding to dip and to go to the K-pop club. At least I think that's the name of it. I don't know if it has like a more official name or whatever, but it says that at least on the outside of the establishment. And at this point, we were getting pretty blasted, so I only had 1 drink at this bar, but the times were awesome. The music was incredible at this bar. I don't remember a whole lot from this night, I'm not gonna lie. We had consumed a little bit more than we probably should have, but we all made it home safe. Everybody was okay, and I absolutely lost my voice screaming my way through plenty of those songs at both assorted clubs. And on to day 8. It was all over, bro. I took my shower, freshened up, packed everything up, and it was time to go to the airport. Got us some food over there once we made it, and I want to go ahead and get into the soft section here where we continue to talk. This was the trip of a lifetime. I really and truly have no regrets between, even just like getting sick like a little bit in the middle of the trip, like was kind of like a little bit of the icing on it. Like I'm gonna remember forever just like how it felt feeling gross in this like unbelievably hot monsoony weather in Seoul and Busan, just running around South Korea having a great time. And I got to do it with some friends that I really care about, and we all had a great time. And like I was saying, I know a bunch of y'all are gonna be like, Ben, you didn't do this. You're supposed to do this. And y'all, you gotta understand, when you're with a group, you wanna be able to do whatever that the group wants to do. If someone in the group has something they're really excited and passionate about, yes, I wanna be able to go with them, and I wanna be able to do that, And that's why when we went to Gangnam on that one of those last days, I was really excited. But that kind of day ended up being sort of for me. We were doing some and looking around for some K-pop related things, and not everyone in the group was super interested, but they were happy to go with me, And that was what the trip was all about. So I have no regrets. In the meantime, y'all get in the comments down below and let me know if I have the chance to go back. I have no idea when I'll be able to afford to, because this was expensive, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to have the money to be able to go again. But if I get to go back, y'all leave me some comments down below. What did I miss out on? Tell me what I should do. Tell me if there are specific places, and like I was saying, if there's like a specific spot in Hongdae that I didn't get to go to that y'all really think that I should, that's cool. Leave that down in the comments down below. One major thing that stuck out that we didn't get to do on this one was Jeju. I would love to be able to go to the island and hang out. That was the one thing, that was the one major thing. I think if I had been able to add, are we really still doing the yard work? I don't remember exactly where I was at in my wrap up here, but the point is, y'all, awesome trip. Awesome trip. Am I a little bit sick right now and trying to recover? Yes, that's once again why I'm not doing a face cam in this video. Otherwise, I'd have my face on screen, but me and my ugly mug feel gross today, so you're not getting to see. But it's going to be a very long time until I feel like I recover fully from this trip. Not just because, I lost like tons of sleep, but I don't know. it was a major and true full circle moment for me. Being able to go over and do this. I was introduced to Korean culture through K-pop for the first time almost like 6 years ago. And I started making videos because I was passionate about it. And y'all have, come to me and enjoyed my content and been able to like hang out and help me like sort of like walk through this journey with me. And it was a really crazy full circle moment being over there, And of all of these last like few years making videos and enjoying the music, it's just been really cool to continue to dive a little bit deeper, into the culture and being able to go over and really just do as much as we possibly could have. And basically 6 full days, 2 of those days were kind of still had travel involved in them. So it was really just like 6 days of actual touring around and having fun and getting stuff done. But there was something really special about that for me. So I want to say once again to y'all, I do my best to thank y'all as often as I possibly can, regardless, for all the support that y'all give me. But I really want to go ahead and say it again right now that this trip 100% couldn't have been possible without y'all. Especially shout out to my Twitch subs, all of my patrons, of course, of all general tiers. Y'all are the reason I was able to go, those of y'all that know, I don't really make money off YouTube because everything gets claimed by copyright, but those of y'all that have gone out of your way to support me, not just here on YouTube by leaving likes and comments and stuff, but especially like I was saying, those of y'all that hang out in my Twitch community, subscribe over there. And of course, especially to all of my patrons that continue to come back and support me and enjoy all the content over there. It's just, y'all are the reason I was able to go. So thank you. This trip was 110% possible because of you. And I really appreciate those of y'all that continue to come back, spend time with me, and like I was saying, send me your support because I was able to do this because of y'all. So thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. But I think that's it. I don't want to make this too much longer. I know I've already probably recorded for like half an hour. And nobody wants to sit and listen to me talk for over half an hour. I don't want to listen to me talk for over half an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm going to let my voice rest a little bit because I can feel it starting to get a little bit scratchy in my throat. So I'm going to dip. But if y'all want to continue to, ask me questions or whatever, I will be in the comments on this video talking through stuff. So feel free to leave that. And if you just want to talk about it further, we can talk about it on Twitch if you'd like to. I'm going to be live a bunch over the next couple of days. Twitch schedule is back to the way that it's supposed to be now that I've been away for the last like 2 weeks. So come through, hang out this over. Like I was saying, as per usual, we'll be over on Twitch for free. If you haven't made an account over on Twitch before, come do so. It's free to do so. Come hang out. Patreon, of course, you got to pay a little bit, but if you pay in the little bit over on Patreon, you're gaining access to thousands of hours of my content. So, like, the value's pretty worth it. Anyway, I'll catch y'all on the next one. I am going to try to go edit this up and chop it up and put it up so that y'all can enjoy it. Thank you for the millionth time. I will see you soon. And like I said, if y'all want me to clarify or talk about anything else in the comments down below, I will be sure to do that. Have a good one. Regular content resuming from me, hopefully ASAP. What a trip, man. What a trip.